certain way and you do it your way and it mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your cup, not mine.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
Floyd Mayweather weighed in on the highly anticipated matchup between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis, offering a measured but revealing take. According to Floyd, Davis is making his own choices and in doing so, risking his own career. Mayweather explained that he's offered Davis plenty of advice in the past, but once a fighter decides to follow his own path, the responsibility lies with him. Still, Floyd admitted that the fight is exciting for the sport and a huge financial opportunity for both men. He added that, while he isn't involved in promoting this event, he'll definitely be tuning in when the two step into the ring.
Within my company, within my team, do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor to clean up the mess because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and it mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your cup, not mine.
The boxing community has been divided ever since the announcement of the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight. Across social media, debates rage between fans and analysts. Some call it a publicity stunt designed to sell tickets, while others see it as an opportunity for Tank to expand beyond boxing's traditional audience. Promoters, fighters, and commentators have all jumped into the discussion, either defending Tank's decision or condemning it as a distraction from true competition. This clash of opinions has only fueled anticipation for a bout that, whether respected or ridiculed, has already captured global attention.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. That he ain't gonna do him no favors. That he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean. That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean. You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean. You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game, but you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean. But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it, but it is kind of crazy.
Trainer Greg Hackett voiced frustration with the criticism Tank has faced since accepting the fight. Hackett argued that modern boxing culture has become overly judgmental, with fans attacking fighters without understanding their motivations or personal circumstances. If Davis wants to fight Jake Paul, that's his decision, Hackett said firmly. People forget that fighters are human too. He emphasized that outsiders often underestimate the sacrifices and discipline required to stay at the top level of boxing. To Hackett, boxing fans should appreciate effort and mastery instead of constantly dictating who a fighter should or shouldn't face. His comments highlighted the growing disconnect between online critics and those who actually live the fighter's life.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get.
Sports analyst Max Kellerman found himself at the center of backlash for his recent commentary on Gervonta Davis. Kellerman has been accused by fellow analysts of showing bias and unfairly downplaying Tank's career. In several appearances, Kellerman questioned Davis's credentials, claiming he had never proven himself as a true champion or accomplished anything extraordinary in his division. His remarks sparked strong reactions across the boxing world. Critics argued that Kellerman ignored Davis's record in knockout power, choosing instead to focus on narratives that favor spectacle over substance. Many saw his comments as emblematic of a deeper issue: how modern boxing media often undervalues young, dominant fighters while glorifying hype-driven figures.
Max Kellerman is full of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalists that there is in the sport of boxing, and to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you, is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta, that Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous, because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135, and there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary. The title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt. But okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous, because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire time that he's there.
Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi added fuel to the debate with his characteristically blunt assessment. He blasted the idea of Tank Davis facing Jake Paul, saying it undermines the credibility of boxing. Malignaggi argued that knockouts only matter when they come against evenly matched professionals. When fights are manufactured for show, not competition, he said, they distort what boxing truly represents. Speaking alongside analyst Chris Algieri, Malignaggi explained that while casual fans might find such fights entertaining, serious boxing followers can see through the illusion. He warned that social media-driven matchups risk confusing the public about what legitimate boxing looks like. His comments underscored the growing tension between sport and spectacle, a battle that now defines the modern boxing landscape.
Dude, knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture.
You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can't. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
if
he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way
Paulie,
we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way they did it when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was to a degree manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time.
Teddy Ellis will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of
he would say the guys
Witherspoon.
that were afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who I contracted.
You can say the same thing about?
Who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when are you going to fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone.
Not everyone agrees with the critics. Popular boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult took a more optimistic stance after watching the recent press conference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Initially skeptical because of Jake's size advantage, Showbiz said the face-off changed his mind. He noted how calm, confident, and professional Davis appeared throughout, displaying poise that spoke volumes about his mindset. "You could see it in his eyes," Showbiz said. "Tank knows exactly what he's doing." He emphasized that Davis's technical brilliance, speed, and ring IQ could easily neutralize Jake's power and size. Showbiz predicted that many people will be shocked by how well Gervonta adapts on fight night, reminding everyone that skill often beats strength.
I'll be the hell out of this kid. Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. No cap. I know if Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened, but he does feel out of his element. I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference and it's like, number one, I know what y'all saying. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off. It's fake. Cause Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what is he talking about?
What are you talking about? What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. Nah, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I could understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this and how I'm reacting to this. My oldest son was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're gonna get a weird response to your take.
Interestingly, Floyd Mayweather's name has once again surfaced, not as a promoter, but as a competitor. Rumors suggest that Mayweather is now exploring a potential exhibition fight with none other than Mike Tyson. Analysts believe this move is about more than money, it's about attention and legacy. With the spotlight currently on his former protege Gervonta Davis, some speculate that Floyd's rumored bout is his way of reminding the world that he still dominates boxing headlines. Observers say this is vintage Mayweather, driven by competition, pride, and a refusal to be outshined. As Davis and Paul prepare for their spectacle, Floyd's rumored return adds another layer to the narrative of ego, legacy, and the constant struggle for relevance in the ever-evolving boxing world.
Celebrities and so many people that are known, where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson, and in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
Former heavyweight contender Eddie Chambers entered the discussion with a message for those doubting Davis. He cautioned that size doesn't dictate victory. Boxing history is filled with smaller fighters outclassing bigger men. Chambers reminded fans that Jake Paul's physicality is impressive, but it cannot outweigh Davis's superior technique, speed, and intelligence. Jake's improved, no doubt, Chambers said, but he's never faced a fighter of Tank's caliber. He emphasized that Tank's discipline and strategy are what truly set him apart. According to Chambers, those underestimating Davis are missing the point. This isn't just about fame, it's about proving skill under pressure. Chambers also addressed the seriousness of Davis's preparation. Insiders from his camp describe a fighter intensely focused and determined to make a statement. Observers have noted how composed he appears during press events, alert, respectful, and locked in. To Davis, this fight isn't just a payday. It's about pride, legacy, and showing that even in the entertainment era of boxing, real skill still reigns supreme.
Press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash. Like, you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.
Former world champion Timothy Bradley offered his own confident take, calling the fight easy money for Gervonta Davis. Bradley argued that Davis's skill level, defense, and experience far surpassed Jake Paul's limited resume. Tank has fought elite talent for years, he said. Jake's fought maybe a few pros. There's no comparison. Bradley predicted that Davis's timing and speed would expose Jake's weaknesses within just a few rounds. Still, he cautioned that overconfidence could be Tank's only real danger. If Davis maintains focus, Bradley expects a dominant performance. Beyond the technical breakdown, Bradley pointed to the larger meaning behind the fight. He said the event represents the current state of boxing, where the line between sport and entertainment is increasingly blurred. Davis versus Paul, he explained, is not just about, it's a symbol of the era. Traditional skill meeting celebrity influence. Old school competition merging with new school marketing.
Contract, yeah. You prove your innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happens when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. Fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah, false sense of security. Now he try to pick on small folks, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size.
For purists, this cultural shift feels uncomfortable. For promoters, it's pure genius. Either way, there's no denying that the fight has already achieved something rare. It has the entire world talking about boxing. Fighters like Gervonta Davis are learning to walk a fine line, preserving the integrity of the sport while embracing its entertainment value. Whether fans love it or hate it, this matchup marks a turning point. It proves that boxing isn't dying, it's transforming, adapting to a new generation of viewers and business realities.
Right in that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man. Tank, please. Please, 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 man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, hey, all your fans can give you $1, bro. So that way you don't be shoot blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, one minute they said, oh, this is the fight.
That wraps up today's coverage. The build-up to Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis continues to intensify, blending controversy, excitement, and intrigue. Whether viewed as spectacle or sport, one thing is certain, the eyes of the world will be watching when these two step into the ring. Stay tuned for more updates.